Another question for you. Andy just now said you do it, you're running because you love what you do. You love the community. Now, I'm sure each of you might have something to add to that. So let's talk about why you think you're the best candidate, or if you do think you're the best candidate for the position. Ernie?
Well, yes, I do feel that I'm the best candidate. I go back and to a quote that Supervisor Gibson said on the Daily Post that if she saw somebody sitting on the seat, she would rather see a planning commissioner or a council member sit on that seat. And the reason has a lot to do with a lot of the issues. For example, the planning commissioner deals with a great deal of land development issues, and that's huge in itself. That's connected to economic development. So I feel that I literally hit the ground running on that end. And yes, it does also fall on the grounds that I have a great deal of passion for serving my community. I love Redwood City. I love our county. I think all of us can say that we have been involved a great deal in our county and within our own cities. So it has a great deal to do with our love for our cities and our county too as well.
Okay, I could go in order, Carlos, but I'll take memos since I did say.
Thank you. And I've been waiting, too.
I know.
I keep, being a good boy, lift my hand. Well, I know I am the best candidate for the job.
Do you hear that, everybody else?
We're taking note.
I'm following all his steps. And the reason I say that is the county is a very complex business. It does so many different things. It's not just one particular thing. It's not just building a car. It's providing services, public safety, so many different things. It's in the real estate business, the health business. It's a very complex type of business. Plus the fact that it's a public business on top of that, which makes it even more complicated. Well, I've been in private practice for 23 years, my own business in insurance and financial planning and investments. So I have that experience with me. Also, I've been in private industry 20 years before that in management. A lot of the work that you need to do is manage departments, manage individuals, look at wages, look at salary, look at contracts. So I had that experience. Again, that's what makes me different from the rest of the group here, because I've been doing this for over 40 years. On the side of community, I've been committed to this community in San Mateo County, not East Palo Alto, not Menlo Park, not Redwood City, but the whole county for 30 years. And I've been involved with getting my hands dirty with nonprofits, actively participating.
Do you have to get your hands dirty?
You could do sometimes.
When you're dealing with nonprofits.
When we were building Habitat for Humanity on Gloria Way, we actually had to go out there and paint and
get your hands dirty.
Exactly, and I believe that is an experience that not too many people are willing to take.
All right, thank you. Now, Carlos, you will be after, shall we?
Yes. I want to talk about a couple of things in this. First, I think it's important for people to understand who are watching what the county does. And so when I talk about the county, I really talk about that it's the local arm of the state and federal government and responsible for implementing a lot of programs and services that are really important to people's lives, Medi-Cal, welfare, foster care, all of those things are the county's responsibility. The second piece is public safety. So things like the sheriff, the jail, the courts, the DA, probation, all of that comes under the purview of the county as well. And then as Ernie alluded to, the county is the city for people who live in the unincorporated areas. So all of the city functions also fall under the purview of the county. Now, that being said, to the point of the county being the local arm of the state and federal government, almost half of the county's budget is dedicated to health and human services. And my background is public health. I have a master's in public health and have been working in that area for almost 20 years. And like Memo, have spent quite a bit of time. I run a nonprofit myself. We do teen pregnancy prevention, and have spent quite a bit of time working in collaboration with people at the county level, working across the county to bring people together to try and solve some of our pressing problems. One last thing I want to say is, you asked a good question, I think, Henrietta. You talked about getting your hands dirty. And is the job of the supervisor to get your hands dirty? The job of the supervisor is not so much the management of the people. The job of the supervisor is to set policy and direction for the county. And you do that in a variety of ways. And it's not about the day-to-day running of the county. That's what the county staff is there for. And that's what we're electing people to do. And that's what I've been doing in Redwood City for 7 years. Okay.
Carlos, thank you. Carlos, is it about managing people? Is it about setting a direction? What makes you think you're the best possible person to fill the seat?
Well, my mother used to say comparisons are odious, so I don't know if I want to do comparisons here. You know, I think that there's 7 great candidates that are running. I think that the choice that the electorate needs to make is whose experience, both schooling, academically, politically, professionally, aligns and parallels the best with the scope, the charge of work that a supervisor has. I would say that mine does, particularly because as the immediate past mayor of East Palo Alto, as a planning commissioner and as a city council member for 3.5 years, you know, we deal with very significant urban issues. We deal with transportation issues, affordable housing issues, the development of affordable housing, critical public safety issues, particularly in East Palo Alto, economic development, health, as well as recreation and parks. I mean, all of those areas, you know, whether it's dealing with the Ravenswood Health Center and trying to figure out how we can work with them so they can have better service provision, so that we can actually, you know, provide them with some additional land to you know, increase their services, or whether it's, you know, getting, you know, during my mayorship about $2 million for Cooley Landing, and then an additional $5 million that we just got 3 months ago to finish Cooley Landing, a park that we've never had first access to the bay. So I think that it is important when the electorate goes to vote that they look at what have been the past experiences that directly relate to, I mean, I think Shelley's right, you know, an agency that, or a government that basically is the local arm of the state, state and federal government.
You are asking that the public be very informed if they're to look at your roles and responsibilities and your background and your experience, and to see what best aligns with the needs of the county. Andy, you were the one who started this off by saying that you love the community and you loved what you do. So what makes you the best candidate?
Well, I'm going to diverge from my fellow candidates here and say that I don't feel that I can take that position, and yet I'm forced to. I'm forced to say, I want the job. That's the bottom line here. I want the job. But I have learned so much about what Shelley knows. I have learned so much about what Carlos knows. I have come to know Ernie through North Fair Oaks in ways I never thought I would. And I've sat down with Memo and really understand him. What I want to say is that the voters are going to have to pick among us, and the problem with talking about my experience is that, yeah, I'm going to put my best foot forward here, of course. But I don't think that equips the voters to know. I don't think it's all about experience. I think it's about the quality of thinking. And what that means is we know that all of us care about the community. But how are we going to weigh different values and make choices? The only way you can really understand that is by getting to know that candidate or those candidates as well as you can. It's hardly allowed in our voting process. So we end up moving to a lower level of communication where we talk about our experience, our accomplishments, and so on. But really, you've got to believe that the person you vote for is out for your best interest. Now, what is that? All these policy makers have to make tough choices, budget choices, hiring, all kinds of choices. And it's hard to even communicate all of that to the public. I would like to think that my experience has prepared me for another job than city council, because I've seen the housing problem in Menlo Park, and I've seen the elimination of the RDAs, and I want to crack at filling the hole that the elimination of the RDA has created in Menlo Park.
Thank you, Andy. He